It's Michael Weisberg Gaming. This is your complete guide to Vampire Survivors, updated for version 0.3. In Vampire Survivors, you control a survivor with the WASD keys or a control pad, and your job is to survive as long as possible against the undead hordes. You're going to try to kill as many as possible so that you can level up and get more and more powerful. The first thing we're going to go over is the power-ups you're going to want to focus on. Now, I recommend that you go for greed first and max that out so that you get more coins so that you can buy more abilities more quickly. After that, I think growth is fantastic to let you level up faster per run, as well as amount and might. And then I recommend you get a good mix of everything else as you go. Revival is another good choice once you have it unlocked. Another important choice you have to make is what hero to use. Now you're going to start out with just Antonio, and you're going to want to use him until you buy Imelda. You can buy her for 10 coins, and then you should use her or Antonio, whichever you prefer. Personally, I prefer Imelda, but it is up to you. You're going to want to use either of those two until you unlock Gennaro. Gennaro costs 600 coins. After that, you're going to want to use Gennaro until you get Morticio. Now, Morticio is arguably tied for the top spot in the game with Cavallo. You can make an argument for either one of those. These are both fantastic survivors, so you can take your pick about which you prefer, but you're going to want to use Morticio because Cavallo will be unlocked later. You unlock Morticio by defeating 3,000 skeletons and then buying him with coins. Next, let's talk about what abilities you're going to want to take. For a beginning player, I recommend this tier order for attacks. You're going to want to start with the garlic, as it does damage in a radius around you and knocks everything back. It is fantastic for beginners. The damage is not high enough to make it great in the long run, but for just getting started, it is the best ability. Followed by the Bible, does a similar thing. It swirls around your character, but it does not last all the time, and it does not have the knockback. Next up for a beginner, I recommend the lightning. It does instant damage. It is a lightning strike around your character. It does not clear out areas around you like the garlic or the Bible, but it does massive damage, and you do not need to aim it, which makes it a great ability for a beginner in my opinion. Next up, I have the wand. This is an auto-aimed ability, and it does a knockback, which I think makes it fantastic for a beginner. At number 5, I'm putting the Santa Water. It is similar to the lightning, except it leaves an AoE splash effect on the ground, so when enemies wander in it, it will kill them. Next up, I have a tie between Pigeon and Ebony Wing. They are basically the same ability, just one is light and one is dark. They do, as far as I can tell, the same DPS, and they do it in an area around your character, which makes it great for a beginner. And finally, at number 7, I'm putting the Rune Tracer, as it is a very good DPS ability, and you don't have to aim it, and it bounces around and does quite a bit of damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't do a knockback or anything, but it is very good for a beginner in my opinion. Next up are the passive skills that I recommend for a beginner. Now, these are fairly similar to the skills I would recommend for a non-beginner as well, but with a few tweaks. Now, for an advanced player, I wouldn't recommend like the crown or the wings, but they are great for beginners. Starting off with the duplicator, this basically adds one more projectile to every attack. It is a fantastic DPS upgrade. It does take a while to unlock, but once you get it, I highly recommend you get it whenever possible. Next up, I really like the spinach. This is a flat DPS increase to all of your abilities, which will let you kill more enemies and live longer. At number 3, I think beginners should take the crown. This will let them get experience much faster. You'll level up faster, get more abilities. You'll learn the game that way, and you will live longer. And at number 4, I've got the wings. This is a movement speed increase, which is fantastic to let you run away from danger. At number 5, I'm putting the attract orb. This will let you suck up experience gems from farther away, thus allowing you to stay out of danger a little easier. And at number 6, I've got the heart. The red heart gives you health regen, and the black heart gives you flat health increase. Both of these are good for beginners, as they'll let you take more damage and live longer. And at number 7 is the clover. It is an increase to luck. Now, I am still a little bit unsure what exactly this does. I know it gives you a chance to get more choices when you level up, and I think it increases your critical strike chance, but other than that, I am unsure. I think it also gives you a better chance to get more rare abilities, but all around, it's just a flat increase, and I like it for both a beginner and an intermediate to advanced player as well. Once you become more comfortable with the game, your strategy should switch over to starting to evolve weapons. Now, the way you evolve weapons is by maxing them out to level 8, and then having the appropriate passive, and then getting a chest off of a boss, and then they will evolve. Evolutions do a ton more damage and gain some cool effects, altering the way the abilities work and letting you kill more and more enemies and survive longer. Most abilities can be evolved, and pretty much all the evolutions will be a great way to maximize your character, but I'm going to go over the ones that I recommend you focus on. First up, we have the Bandolier, which is the 2 pigeons combined together to evolve. I like this one because it is 2 of your attack abilities combined into 1, so you get an extra attack, and it also is probably the highest DPS ability in the game. It seems to be the highest DPS every time I play. Sometimes other abilities are ahead, but overall it seems to be the highest DPS ability in the game. The next abilities I have chosen both because they do fantastic DPS on their own, and because the passive that you need to upgrade them is also a very good ability that you're going to want to have anyway. Usually my highest priority after the Bandolier is the Hellfire, which is a combination of the Fire Wand and the Spinach. Now, I really like this ability both because it often seems to top my DPS chart, and because I almost always want the Spinach anyway. Next up, I have the Thunder Loop, which is a combination of the Lightning Ring plus the Duplicator. Now, this ability wipes out huge swaths of enemies as it goes off. It goes off kind of across the screen and takes out massive amounts of enemies at once, and you have to have the Duplicator to get it, which in my opinion is the best passive in the game. So that's why this is one I often try to get. Next up, I love the Death Spiral, which is the axe plus the candle. Now, this ability shoots out from your character in a circle, which is great for keeping enemies off you. Plus, you're probably going to want the candle anyways, as it greatly increases the area of your attacks, which allows them to hit more enemies and do much more damage. And finally, the last ability that I try to prioritize is the Heaven Sword, which is the cross combined with the clover. This ability does massive damage, and the way it moves across the map can clear you out of a path from danger, as it will clear in a straight line, clearing out massive amounts of enemies. If you're surrounded, you can follow it out of danger. After that, it's kind of up to you. Another great choice is the Santa Water, or the Rune Tracer, or whatever you prefer best. I know a lot of people love the Garlic, but I personally don't recommend it. I don't think it does enough damage to be helpful, although the knockback is nice. As you play, you're also going to unlock different stages. You'll start with the Mad Forest, and then you'll get the Library, and then finally the Dairy Plant and the Green Acres. Now, I do recommend that you play in the Library whenever possible after you unlock it, as it, to me, is the easiest stage. You can also go into Hyper Mode for more gold. And finally, some in-game tips. First off, I recommend that you try to take out the light sources whenever possible. These are the candles, the braziers, the lampposts, etc. They will give you power-ups and sometimes food, which will regen your health, and they will give you coins to let you buy power-ups. Don't worry too much if you take a little bit of damage, you can recover it later. Once you understand the way your abilities are going to work, you can use them to escape damage. For example, the axe and the cross especially will come straight down and you can follow them out of danger. Also, as you learn the way the abilities move, you can start to lead enemies into them. For example, the cross and the axe again. If you can get the projectile direction right, you can start to move your character so that the enemies will walk right into them. Thank you so much for watching. If you think that I missed anything or you have any other questions, let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so that I know that you want more content like this. And if you really want to support the channel, you can hit that join button below for some cool perks. And don't forget, I play other games besides Vampire Survivors, so check back often and we'll be playing different games. Maybe you'll find something else you'll like.